VTubing, the newest form of entertainment taking the internet by storm, and whether you like it or not, it doesn't seem like it's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. VTubing is an entertainer using a digital avatar to disguise themselves, and with voice changes being a thing, you could be watching quite literally anybody. So even you yourself could create a VTuber avatar and be basically anybody you wanted to, which, as with many things of this nature, there are both lots of positives but also a lot of negatives. VTubing itself can be traced all the way back to 2011 with an upload by a user called Ami Yamato, and to be fair, her videos aren't too bad, especially when you consider the fact that she started off her YouTube career in the early 2010s, with most content around this time not being too high quality. And more importantly to note, her character looks nothing like the traditional VTuber that you see today. In other words, she doesn't look like an anime character. VTubing as we know it wasn't popularised until 2016 with the arrival of Kizuna AI, coming with many of the quirks you'd see from YouTubers today, that being an extremely exaggerated, high-pitched voice and a bubbly personality. VTubers like AI even have their own backstories to try and flesh out the character a bit more, causing their viewers to develop a parasocial relationship with them, similarly to K-pop and K-pop fans, but I'd probably say that's worse if I'm honest. But mainly speaking Japanese meant she was relegated to a Japanese audience, meaning she didn't overly attract the Western audience. In fact, the roots of VTubing itself, as you'd probably expect, are rooted deep in anime culture and stem from AI characters such as Hatsune Miku. Given her wild success, honestly it's a no-brainer why these companies decided to make so many VTube social media accounts. However, as is well known, the vast majority of these VTubers are not owned by individuals, but instead are part of larger corporations. One of the more notable ones being Nisanji. Nisanji formed in 2018, first beginning in Japan but eventually expanding to the West in 2020, gathering an English-speaking group of VTubers. Now I'm assuming they did this because of the explosion in popularity of anime etc. due to the pandemic. I'd say just pretty much any media from Japan in general sort of went crazy as well, so that probably spurred on the creation of like an English subsection of these companies. So with the pandemic, people were lonelier than ever, and VTubers sort of provided a parasocial relationship for people to latch onto, which in fact, it seems to me that this is one of the biggest selling points of it all, providing people with the illusion of friendship and companionship essentially. And some people even go as far to tattoo these VTubers on their bodies, which, you know, I mean, each to their own. You know, I can't tell people what to do. Personally, you won't be seeing me tattooing VTubers on myself, but that's just me at the end of the day, that's just me. And there are many people who watch these VTubers hours on end daily, and it does make me sort of wonder if watching too much of this content would be much worse for your psyche than just watching a ton of like actually living YouTubers. Because while I understand that all YouTubers have a persona to an extent, but VTubers take it to an entirely new level, sounding more like anime characters than actual people. Now I'm not saying don't watch these VTubers, because honestly I couldn't care less if you watch them or not, but I do think some people take it to an unhealthy extreme, but I guess you could really apply that to any form of content. Anyway, back to Nisanji. In early 2021, Nisanji would debut 3 streamers, Alira, Pandora, Pomu Rainpuff, and Finana Arugu, in a phase called Lazulite. Now while successful, the success of these 3 would pale in comparison to what is to come. Though they still maintain a loyal fan base it seems. Obviously we're looking at Pomu Rainpuff here, she still has a very active fan base, so I don't even think the older generations are going to be seeing a decline soon. Now releasing these VTubers as waves was a very smart decision. It only creates more of a feel of community and allowed them to collaborate, only strengthening the connection with the viewer. Now Nisanji continues to launch wave after wave of these VTubers, with each wave more popular than the last, with the most subscribed VTuber of the English division being Vox Akuma with over 1.43 million subs as of the release of this video. And I know I previously sort of ragged on VTubing a little, but while skimming through some of his clips, I did find he made some pretty good points about the positives of VTubing.
We often forget that at the end of the day, VTubing is a tool, and it's something that you can use to make, you know, new and interesting content. And so when what I've sort of used this as a tool to do is that like I've gotten a lot more confident with acting.
So yeah, I do think he brings up a very good point about using VTubing as a tool, allowing people to accomplish things they otherwise couldn't have. Because obviously with traditional media, people sort of worry about their looks too much, and then that might affect their acting if they want to be an actor, for example. So I think, you know, there's definitely a positive there. Nisanji is definitely a very big group of VTubers, but much bigger in terms of subscriber count is Hololive, who like Nisanji saw incredible success in Japan and so also announced auditions for English VTubers in 2020, again propped up by the pandemic. And finally, in September 2020, Hololive would be released, introducing 5 VTubers with one destined to become the most subscribed. Her name being Gura, I think I butchered that, but she gained notoriety and attention in Japan and the West alike. So I already kind of find VTubing kind of odd to begin with, if not insufferable depending on what VTuber it is. But this VTuber to me is just somehow even stranger. Her model makes her look extremely childlike, and she has the old age anime trope of being 9,000 years old or something. Maybe to justify why she's doing stuff like this in streams.
Ready? 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 Okay. 3, 2, 1. Kiara!
Videos like this really makes me question who's watching this content, honestly. Though audience aside, she's definitely popular with some people, as she's amassed a commendable 4.3 million subscribers and over 330 million views in only 3 years. Personally, I don't really get the appeal. I would have thought it would be more interesting to watch this kind of content in anime or something, but she's clearly doing something right. While VTubers being owned by the corporation definitely has its benefits, such as being given equipment, easy collabs, etc., ultimately you're just an employee of the company, meaning stepping out of line in any way can be career-ending. An example of this is the case of RudeyXtr, an up-and-coming VTuber with a loyal fanbase. It did seem she was on the up, but she was accused by Hololive for breaching an NDA she'd signed, and she'd supposedly been leaking confidential information from Hololive to third parties. Now, of course, this absolutely devastated her fans, but if she did breach her NDA, then obviously Hololive did nothing wrong in this situation. But it does bring me to a question of the future of VTubing, as with these companies having such a large monopoly over the space, I wonder what kind of things they could include in the future NDAs to control their actors. Perhaps restricting their creativity within the industry, I don't know, but for now it's just complete speculation. Even though being part of these organisations has this sort of risk involved, it seems that the pros outweigh the cons for most people, as even VTubers like Ironmouse decided to make the move to a company. I do think this makes sense, as the exposure and easy collabs can skyrocket a career, and as long as you stay within your NDA, then you won't really be having too many problems with your channel being revoked or anything like that, so being with a corporation isn't all terrible. Speaking of Ironmouse, the popularity of VTubers has become so popular that Twitch has even made a Best VTuber award, with Ironmouse winning it, and honestly, it's something to see.
Oh wait, I can hear it! Wait, I'm putting it up to the speaker.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Present day 2023, what is the future of these VTubers looking like? Well, the companies that employ them are only rolling out more and more generations, and the popularity of older streamers are also only on the up. I think as the internet continues to expand, there will be more people addicted to the parasocial connection with these VTubers, and also as the technology continues to evolve, I believe that the antics they can get up to will only be wilder from here. In other words, I don't think there'll be a phenomenon that dies anytime soon. So what do you guys think of VTubing? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.